Hello everyone, this is Anurag Ray from PestRemovalWarrior.com, and today I am going to talk about a very fun topic, a very interesting topic, that is what insects lived when dinosaurs were alive. Now there were many insects that lived during when the dinosaurs were alive. Rather, most of the insects came from that time, and during that time those insects were much bigger in size, much more dangerous, as you see in most movies, and they eventually evolved, and today as we see them that came from that time, and they are now much smaller in size, and some of them are still stronger, still bigger, but not all of them. But most of the size has decreased, so that so the dieting habit also changed, and their strength also decreased eventually. Now before we continue this video, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the notification bell, so that you can receive updates about my videos and also help my channel grow. Now these insects that were during the Jurassic period, and these insects were lived even before dinosaurs. So these insects are even more prehistoric than the dinosaur itself. They evolved eventually from the time when the dinosaur came, and they also lived alongside the dinosaurs, so they obviously has to be much bigger and stronger, because if you are comparing against those dinosaurs, then if they are not that much of a size, they're not that much comparable to them, then of course they won't be able to survive in that environment. So they during that time they were much bigger in size, and they eventually evolved and eventually decreased their size. You can also find them that during the prehistoric, or during that time even before the dinosaurs, they were eventually evolving, and as soon as the period came, mainly the Jurassic period came, you can see their amount, or you can easily see their changes from their fossils, and you can identify what kind of changes they went throughout all of the period of over the millions of years, and then through the modern times came, they actually decreased. So the answer is that most of the insects actually evolved from the time when the dinosaurs were there, and even before them. So for example, the beetles, for example, there are like snake flies, there are dragonflies, there are mayflies. All of these insects actually came from during that time. None of them are new, none of them didn't appear suddenly. All of them came from that time, and they are still evolving like we are. So, and new species there are still being found, and of course these insects have very large number of different species over there, and maybe during that time those species were so many of varying species were not there at that time, but they eventually evolved. However, there were still very different kind of species within an order. Let's say for example, beetles, there are subspecies, there are different species of beetles over there, and they lived in different environment alongside the dinosaurs, and then they eventually evolved, and then more species came from there, and then now there are many beetles, there are different kind of species compared to that of that time. So the dinosaurs during that, as I mentioned before, the insects during that time are much bigger. They needed to feed on much bigger foods, they needed to prey on much, they have a completely different dieting habit that compared to that of now, and even the carnivore insects during that time could have easily killed a small animal that you see nowadays, and because they needed food that were much more that can sustain their bigger bodies, so of course they need to hunt bigger food, and now they are much smaller in size. Even the carnivore insects like dragonflies are much way smaller compared to that of that time, and so they don't need so much amount of food, which is actually good for their survival, because if the bigger the body, the more food, the more resources they have to consume, and that can become a potentially a problematic thing when you are evolving and the resources are scarce and resources are not available. Then the best way to live in that situation is to reduce your size and then live up. So there are many actually examples in the animal kingdom as well, along with the insect kingdom, that the bigger the size actually eventually decrease, so that they can survive the environment, harsh environment, harsh scarcity condition, and they eventually came up to this state. So if you see along there are crocodiles out there, there are other insects out there, there are many different kind of animals. Even the dog and the cat, they are also much bigger compared to that of now. They eventually evolved, and they are now much smaller, which is actually much more efficient. So this is from a historic standpoint, from evolution standpoint, this is a very important thing, and many of the species though lived from the dinosaurs, the Jurassic, and that period, actually came up to this period when they lived by this period, because they reduced their size and found survival strategies that will fit in the environment. That's why they are still alive. So, but if they're much bigger in size, then they could have potentially be hazardous for us also, because you don't want a dragonfly with like a 5 meters or 6 meters in length, and they will try to catch you and may eventually eat you. Although they were not that big, but they were of course can be up to 1 to 2 meters in length, and with the wingspan that's more than enough to scare a lot of people, and including me of course. So they can also, and they were carnivorous at that time, so of course they can attack humans and also animals if they were living in this era. So so from that time the fossil says that there were all kind of different kind of insects that were evolving, and not just dinosaurs, from prehistoric even before dinosaurs. And the fossils actually confirms that they were at that time much bigger, and they eventually decreases. It is not just because of I am saying it, because the fossils actually confirm it, that their size eventually decreased because at that time they were much bigger in size, and they look different also, because it's not just the dragonflies look the way they look right now. They look completely different also, because the beetles and all other insects, they look differently, although they have very common features within them that are still resembles them with them, because of course that's how they came into being. So of course there are many species, many features that they still have. However, they changed a lot from that time, and now they are much smaller, along with the smaller size, smaller everything, their features, their physical appearance also changed a lot. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, don't forget to click on the like, comment and subscribe button, and upload 2 videos every single week. There is on Monday and Friday. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell, so that you can receive updates on my video when it is uploaded, and also help my channel grow. Thank you.